Not a constitutional slam dunk. I'm Jeff Stein with today's Iowa Politics Report. My very first professor in law school some 40 years ago taught us the two rules of statutory construction. First, read the statute. Second, read it again. That's because how you view things depends upon the lens through which you are viewing those things. Sometimes you see what you want to see or expect to see, and not what's really there. That's why you read it again. For the past year, we have heard a lot about the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and what it means. Spoiler alert, those who claim that a certain unique viewpoint is clearly unconstitutional either have their own narrative and agenda or have not actually read the language of the amendment itself. Last year, the amendment was used to keep Donald Trump off state election ballots because in the post-Civil War period, a provision of that amendment kept those who swore allegiance to the Confederacy from serving in our military or in elective office. But in a very unique provision, the last subsection of the 14th Amendment specifically provides Congress with the power to pass legislation to enforce the amendment. That's why, after more time post-Civil War had passed, Congress enacted a law rescinding those service and election limitations. Therefore, there was no 14th Amendment power to bar those who led insurrections from actually trying to get elected. I'm using the phraseology of those who were against Mr. Trump being on the ballot, and as noted, their argument lost. Now the same amendment is being used concerning birthright citizenship, and the amendment is clear that it applies only to those who are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. That was included to recognize former slaves as citizens, but, for example, not children of ambassadors here temporarily on behalf of other nations. And if you read the verbatim transcript of the congressional debate on the issue, it is also pretty clear the provision was never intended to allow folks to sneak past our borders illegally and then claim their children born here are citizens, despite how that's been interpreted over the past 150 years. That's why it's irresponsible for, of all people, a judge to declare in a pre-evidentiary ruling that an executive order on birthright citizenship is clearly unconstitutional, because it's actually anything but clear. And remember that provision in there indicating Congress had authority to pass laws to enforce the amendment? All this Congress has to do is pass a law banning birthright citizenship, and it's done without amending the Constitution, without an executive order. The Congress has the power to do that right now. Whether they have the strength or the votes is another story. And that's the Iowa Politics Report for Tuesday, February 4. On Twitter, Instagram, Getter, Threads, and Truth Social at Iowa Politics. I'm Jeff Stein on News Talk 1540 KXEL.